welcome to Asian Pulse TV, an informative and resourceful station. I'm your host Manbir Randhawa, and today we are broadcasting from the unceded territories of Silvertooth Nation, Mokim, Kwantlen, and Matski Nation. We feel very blessed for the generosity of the first people who shared their traditional and ancestral land with us to live, laugh, and grow. September is a Living Donor Awareness Month. Now, what does that mean? Any living human being can donate their organs, especially kidneys. Why? Because we all have two kidneys, and any human being, any healthy human being, can survive on one. So, if you are healthy and you can donate one of your kidney, please help someone who is in need. National Day for Truth and Reconciliation falls on September 30th. It is also known as Orange Shirt Day, and it is a Canadian holiday to recognize the legacy of the Canadian Indian residential school system. The use of an orange shirt as a symbol was inspired by the accounts of Phyllis Jack Webstad, whose personal clothing, including that orange shirt, was taken away from her and she was sent to a forced residential school. The shirt was never returned. Thus, this orange shirt has become a symbol of the forced assimilation of indigenous children from the residential school system and forced. What actually was happening that these children were apprehended from the village in the name of education, but they were never returned back to their home, to that village. There is a rally being planned on September 30th at the Holland Park in Surrey from 12 until 5 p.m. We encourage our audience to go out and learn about the injustice and be ally to these indigenous communities. Monday will be a state holiday. Schools and offices will also be closed to observe this day. October 1st is CIBC Run for the Cure. This event unites the whole incredible, amazing people of Canada, and they have dedicated their lives to change the future of breast cancer. Together, the groundbreaking research has been performed, and breast cancer research will help women living and living beyond cancer. So this run is taking place in every city in Canada. Go to their website to check further details. It's time to take a short break, and we will be right back once we hear some words from our sponsors.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005. Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pile Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey. No celebration is too small to accommodate you. They have newly renovated 2 halls to serve you, up to 1,000 guest capacity, top-notch chefs to delight you with delectable and heavenly cuisine. So just call Bollywood Banquet Hall at 604-598-2700 for your events. For all your party rental needs, a Langley Party Rental is open under the new management. The location is Unit 230-19358 6th Street in Langley. No job is too small or too big for your special occasions. So give them a call at 604-530-9155 or email info@langleypartyrentals1@outlook.com. United Pallets and Crates is located at 11585 134th Street in Surrey, BC. Give Sam Dooler a call at 604-760-2028 or call the office number at 604-634-2001. You can also visit the website, which is www.unitedpalletsandcrates.com, or send us email at info@palletsandcrates.com. Thank you, sponsors. We have in our studio Anu Phala and Supinder Banvat. They are here to talk about the inclusive employment. It's called Inclusivity in the South Asian Workplace and Beyond. This is their 10th annual Disability Employment Awareness Month. Let's take a look.
In our studios, it's my pleasure to introduce two women that came in here today. And one is Anupala. Everybody knows Anupala, and Anupala has been on our set before. And with her is Supinder Baswati, I think. And she is also doing the work that Anu is doing, working with people with disability. So talk a little bit. Welcome, both of you, first of all.
Thank you.
Very nice to see you, Anu.
Nice to see you as well, Camilla G, and thank you as always for giving us this platform to share bits of information to the community.
So today while we are here, we're gonna be talking about month of September is disability. What is it called? It's called Disability Employment Awareness Month. Right?
Yes.
And it got first started in May and October. That's what the first province that started acknowledging or recognizing people with disabilities and employment. And after that, I think Alberta adopted it, BC adopted it in 2011 or 2012. So now this month that we're going to be here to talk about, month of September, is Disability Awareness Month. And employment, in regards to the employment, why is it so important that people that are living with disability, they can also be working and have a regular job like me, you, and anyone else, right? There should not be any discrimination based on any form of disability that we have. So Anu, first of all, talk a little bit about the work that you do with the disability community.
Sure, definitely. So I am self-employed, so my business is Anu Vision Coaching and Consulting, and I work as an accessibility and inclusion consultant. And under that work, there's many different things that I do. So I work as a vocational consultant with individuals with who have different types of disabilities, and I help them obtain employment, and I also support them in their career journey. In addition to that, I also work with employers to support them to create inclusive workspaces, and I also do some other types of web accessibility work as well. So in addition to that, I also work as a podcast producer because, as you know, I have a media background as well, and a bunch of other things as well. So I always say that yes, I wear many, many hats.
Sukhminder, I want you to talk a little bit about those employers that are looking at you. Why is inclusive hiring so important?
So a little bit about me.
Yes.
My name is Supinder Banwait. I work for CCRW, with the Canadian Council on Rehabilitation and Work, in supporting individuals in seeking employment. So individuals with self-disclosed disabilities in seeking employment and being part of their employment journey. We need to have inclusive workspaces so that everybody feels included. Everybody from all walks of life, different abilities, different disabilities. I think it's super important to make sure that we allow everybody to feel that there is a safe space to work in, regardless of what their abilities may be. Super important also to look at individuals and look at their abilities, not their disabilities. Inclusive workspaces will allow individuals to feel that they can go into work every day, feel strong-willed to do their jobs, and work amongst everybody like everyone else does. So inclusive workspaces are spaces that we must have available for everyone. And if they're not inclusive and we have some work to do, then we can help you do that work and make sure those spaces become inclusive.
Absolutely, and I think there's one really important part to this conversation is that there is a huge untapped labor pool out there of individuals with very unique skill sets that employers have the opportunity to tap into. And so that is why we're having this conversation today, and that's why this Disability Employment Awareness Month has been adopted in September here in BC, and it transitions into October as well, which is a national effort. And that's why, the whole intention of these 2 months is to raise awareness about the importance and the value that people with disabilities bring to the workplace.
When I'm listening to you, what came to my mind is also like when we are talking about disability, we are not talking about people on wheelchair or people missing a hand or something. We are not talking about visible disability. We are also talking about hidden disability. Not everybody can see on the face.
All disabilities.
Yes. There are certain kind of disability. They might think, oh, I'm disabled, but I'm not on a wheelchair and I'm not working with the crutches or something.
Yes.
We are not talking about that kind of, we're talking about that kind of disability as well, but we are also talking about hidden disability that people cannot see. And I think it's very, very important to highlight that as well.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I can touch base a little bit on that. Disabilities, like you said, visible and invisible. All disabilities affect the individual themselves. Those are the issues that they may struggle with. We as outsiders should never judge and never look at somebody in a wheelchair and say they're not able, or look at somebody and say, oh, they parked in the handicap parking spot or in the disabled parking spot. Why did they do that? We have to look through a lens of understanding that everybody has a possible barrier, and that is not for us to judge what that barrier is. And it could be, like you had mentioned, could be very, very visible, or it could be very invisible. So we're talking about anxiety, stress disorders, mental health disorders. There's so many things that many people suffer from. So we can't put a label on what a disability looks like or doesn't look like.
I know you also have mentioned that there is a huge gap or there is a huge market out there to hire the people. And so how would the people they are living with or they have some kind of disability, where do they go to find the employer so they have a chance to get employment? Because this is Employment Awareness Month as well.
Yeah, they can just directly apply to companies and organizations, and a lot of organizations also invite people with disabilities. They outright mention in their job posting that we invite individuals, marginalized individuals, people with disabilities, people of color. And so, that would definitely encourage individuals to highlight that in their cover letter. The other thing is there's many organizations like Sapinder's organization, CCRW. I also work with BC Centre for Ability in the Thrive program. And so agencies like ours who specifically work with individuals with disabilities can be that vehicle to support people in finding the right fit, the right employer, and support them, setting them up for that interview, helping them, put their resume and cover letter, like really helping them put their best foot forward. So there are many organizations, but ours are just a couple of, organizations to mention.
Yeah, there's many out there, many
Right?
organizations that
Yes.
support persons with disabilities and seeking employment. So, Anu mentioned a few, CCRW being one of them. So there, obviously, individuals are open to go and do applications, apply for jobs, and do check off the box that you are a person with a disability. That's okay. And a lot of, hiring out there does want to be inclusive and make sure that they have a workplace that's mixed with all types of individuals. But employment services like CCRW and ones that Anu mentioned are also there to do pre-employment and post-employment services to support individuals with, upgrade of skills, with, ergonomic equipment that they may need, and wage subsidies in some cases as well.
Yeah, and I think one other issue that comes up, especially in the South Asian community, is that there's a fear of acknowledging that you have a disability. So I'll speak for myself as well. I mean, as you know, I do live with complete vision loss. And when I first had eye surgery and came to the realization that I am never going to see again, that was a huge adjustment for me. And so it took me quite a while to come to terms with that. And I think a lot of families struggle with that. We are seeing a lot of this challenge in the South Asian community when it comes to autism as well. So the more that families and individuals educate themselves around their disability, become more comfortable in their own skin, and then connect to organizations like ours, the more successful they will be, because I think a lot of times people feel that, oh, I have a disability, so I can't do anything, or what can I do? You know, they don't know what they can do. And so we are here to help them through that journey, to help them find that niche, because I feel that my heart of hearts, that, you know, everybody brings something to the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What does CCEW stands for?
So we're the Canadian Council on Rehabilitation and Work.
Okay.
Yes, pre-employment and post-employment services.
So where are your offices?
So we have an office here in the Surrey area, and we also have our Vancouver office. And through both those offices, we offer employment services, pretty much, like I said, pre and post-employment services.
So can you talk a little bit about what the myths around people hiring people with disability?
Anu, you want to take this
Sure,
one?
sure, absolutely. Well, we think we can both do it, right?
Yeah,
One of the biggest myths, I would say, is a cost factor. I think employers often have this fear that, oh, if I take on a person with a disability, it's going to go downhill. I'm going to end up spending so much money on this one individual, when that is absolutely not the case at all. Quite more often than not, people with disabilities, there are no costs involved in accommodating them. And sometimes if there are costs, they are very minimal. And I would say most, and I know this for a fact, this is research-based as well, most accommodations cost under $500. So that is a huge, huge myth that we really need to drill into people's heads, that there really is not a big cost factor. I also want to mention that there are wage subsidies also available that employers could also tap into, and maybe you can speak to this.
absolutely, absolutely. So we have multiple programs that are under the CCRW, and within those programs, wage subsidy is one of them. We have a youth program, so once the youth program is finished, we can support in a wage subsidy. So one individual would seek employment. They find employment, we would connect with that employer and offer a wage subsidy. It's a federal funded wage subsidy. We have other programs also that offer other wage subsidies as well. Just they vary from program to program, depending on what the program is and how much of a length of that wage subsidy would be. But it's a benefit to employer for wage subsidy, because that question comes up often. Well, why do I care that my employer gets a wage subsidy? So important. An employer getting a wage subsidy can focus on training an individual and making sure that their needs are met. Maybe they have some extra learning that they need to do. Okay, but if I'm paying the wages for an individual, then really we're taking off burden to a small business, for example, to pay their wages. So if we have a 6 to 12 week wage subsidy, you really should be able to spend that extra time with your new hire and make sure that they're feeling comfortable. And it really, long-term equitable employment becomes very possible, because the wage subsidy is there to support them in their learning and everything that they need, and many other things that we're able to offer through our CCRW and other organizations. So super important. Yeah.
And there are lots of companies like WorkSafe BC, ICBC, and BC Ferries and things like that.
Yes.
They have in their job that they have to hire certain people with disabilities. They have in their policies.
Yes.
So those people that are sitting home and thinking, oh, I give up and there's no job for me, I think people like that should be also applying to big companies such as that have a policy already.
Absolutely.
They have to have a certain percent of people in their company. If they have 500 people, at least 10, 15, 20 or 50 people they can hire, and they have to hire based on their policies, right?
Absolutely. That's why we were talking earlier. If you are somebody who has a disability, often people don't disclose disability. It's a hard
Yes,
topic.
I know.
Super hard topic to say that, I suffer with this or I suffer with that. But it doesn't hurt to check mark the box that I'm a person with a disability if you are comfortable in disclosing so. That's only if you're comfortable in disclosing so.
That's a whole other conversation
Yeah,
too, right?
well, we could be here forever.
Yes.
But yeah, that's up to you. One, disclosure is super difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to do. So, but you're absolutely right. A lot of companies do, bigger corporations are mandating that they are to hire persons with disabilities and need to have the individuals on their roster. I don't know what my take is on that. I think everybody should be equal. But if you are a person with a disability, mark the box.
Yeah.
Mark the box.
Yeah, and I think right now with the new legislation that has been put into place as of September 1st, it's the Accessible BC Act, that is calling for prescribed organizations, and right now that's government organizations and crown corporations, to put in an accessibility plan to ensure that they are including people with disabilities in their workplaces. Because what we find is sometimes upper management, like leadership, they're on board with hiring, in people with disabilities. But as you come down the chain, we see that frontline managers often don't always follow suit because of their own unconscious or conscious biases and fears or whatever that looks like. And so now with this new legislation, they're going to become more accountable to the government to ensure that they are indeed implementing the correct things in place so that people, are included in those work.
So you both are sitting here today and you both are very passionate about the work that you do. And those people that are watching you today, what is the message you want to give it to them? I mean, there are a lot of people who have hidden disabilities and all that, and they just give up, and maybe they get so many rejection at the employment level and all that. I mean, at some point in time, we all are human as well, that we think there is no point why even bother trying. So what would you like to say to them?
Well, I think you just said something that emanated with me. Every single one of us struggles with that. So disability or not, you're going to struggle often find a job. You're going to struggle keeping a job. Those are things for life. And then you throw a disability into it, there's a lot of stuff that goes with that, a lot of things to unpack with that. So I think my message to everyone is going to be to really go out there and look to see what resources are available for you. Because there's a lot of resources, and tap into those, ask a lot of questions, and don't give up hope. I think that's the message for everybody, not even, us, we're talking about persons with disabilities, but everybody. It's a tough time out there for jobs in general. We're struggling in our economy right now regardless. So know that you're not alone, and that's a huge thing. People often think, I'm just alone out here. There's nobody else in the world that deals with anything that I'm dealing with, because it's your own journey. But to know that you're not alone, and there is availability of services and options out there for you. So, keep trucking along, keep trying, I know that's so easy for me to sometimes say, and it's easy for you to say. It's not easy. I've been through my struggles as well, and I've been through my struggles of employment, being let go of employment, which has all its own, issues and things you have to deal with as an individual. But I say keep trucking along, and there is always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, so always.
But come and see you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come see me.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
see Supinder at CCRW. Give me a call. Yeah, absolutely.
Your last word, Anu?
Yeah, thank you. So I would definitely say is that, as Supinder said, keep the faith. Really acknowledge your strengths, because when you have challenges, we often focus on what we can't do as opposed to what we can do. So, and I won't be redundant, but I want to give a message out to the employers. Anyone out there who is working for an organization, a company, if you're self-employed, please do reach out to us if you want to expand your pool of employees, and we would be more than happy to support you in matching you up with great candidates, and also just having that conversation, because this might, lead you to be wondering like, how could I, bring on somebody in my workplace? What could they do? Well, we could definitely have that conversation with you and help you unpack that a little bit further. So please do reach out. Don't be afraid. There's plenty of things that people with disabilities can do, and for people with disabilities out there who are seeking employment, there are so many opportunities, and we just invite you to reach out to us.
Thank you so much to both of you for coming in.
Thank you.
And you both are so passionate about this, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If we could just share our email addresses, that would be great.
Yeah, go ahead. Or do
Okay.
you want to write it? Give it to us, we'll write it down on the screen.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you to both of you. You both did an awesome talk about why it is so important for employers to have an inclusive employment policy at their workplace. If you are that person living with a disability and you are being pushed around, talk to Anu. Moving to our announcement sections, we want to remind you of the upcoming events that are taking place in our community. The 53rd Independence Day of Fiji will be celebrated on October 14th at 6 p.m. at the Bollywood Banquet Hall in Surrey. For sponsorship and other information, you can contact Kevin Chand at 604-562-4569. You can contact Sarah Sharma at 604-992-7253 or Kamila Singh at 604-537-5123. There are more people that can be contacted, named as Salesh Prasad at 604-897-6601. Agnes Prasad at 604-771-7499 or Shabnam at 604-720-8095. So many people at your exposure to just get hold of them and get your tickets, which are available for just $45 per person, and table of 8 is for $360. This includes dinner, entertainment, and dance. All of these proceeds will be going towards Guru Nanak Diversity Village. Surrey CIBC Run for Cure is taking place on October 1st at the Bear Creek Park in Surrey. The CIBC Run for Cure is a 5K or 10K walk or run that raises funds for the Canadian Cancer Society. It's the largest single-day event led by Canadians in support of breast cancer. To register and for more information, please call Sandhya Prasad at 778-788-6936. The Kidney Foundation's second annual Starry Night benefit is taking place at 5:30 p.m. on October 1st at Fraserview Banquet Hall in Vancouver to raise funds, education, and create awareness of kidney diseases and kidney organ donation in the South Asian community across BC and Yukon. For tickets and more information, please email Ramya Hosak at kidney.ca. As always, we leave you with beautiful thoughts. And today, I want you to acknowledge and focus and stress and maybe give this a thought that apologizing does not always mean that you are wrong and the other person is right. When you apologize, it also means that you value your relationship more than your ego. Author is unknown, but the fact is very clear. Thank you for spending your day with me. I am your host, Manvi Randhawa. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next week.